Greetings.
But later we can talk about... Oh, shit, sorry. Hi!
Hi.
What I was talking about.
That's the theme of this week.
You were talking
Is
about
what the fuck is going on? Well, let us tell you. I'm Azzy.
And I'm Mouse.
And we are going to talk about 3
New
albums.
releases.
Yeah, those things. From this week, the first one we are talking about... Well, we don't know what order we're going to do these yet in, so it'll be a surprise. But one of the albums we're talking about is Medusa Complex by The Creeping Terrors, which is post-punk riot girl meets horror death rock out of the UK.
The second one we're going to talk about, in no particular order still, is The Plague Garden with Left in the Grave. That sounds unfortunate.
Yeah, and then the last one we're going to talk about is Chemical Waves.
With the album Even When We Fall Apart.
Even When We Fall Apart. Yeah.
Let's get to it.
Let's get to it. You know what I want to talk about first?
You want to talk about The Creeping Terror.
How'd you know?
Because you're so excited. Because it's freaking death rock.
It is death rock. Oh, I love this album. So, this is the band's 3rd album.
Okay.
And it's their 3rd release, and honestly, like, their first 2 releases were great, but this one blows it all out of the water. It really feels like the band is coming together, and you know, they finally meshed as a creative unit in... Well, yeah, they had previously, but on their 3rd album, it just...
This is my first
transcends.
introduction to them. So, of course, you know, we had that subtext, post-punk riot girls meets horror death rock.
Yeah.
So I thought, I didn't know what to expect. But if you look at the cover and the font and everything, I'm like, is this going to be like kind of psychobilly?
It kind of looks like
horror
with the
punk
font of The Creeping Terrors. Yes, okay, I'll give you that.
It did have a lot of that death rock happening. It was just
did.
And that's more of what I wanted, more of what I expected.
In like the wheelie guitars and
they don't have any Bandcamp poetry on their site.
But the singer sent you some of her own poetry.
She did. So please hold.
Yeah, Mouse is gonna look it up. But yeah, this album came out on February 11th, I believe. Yeah, February 11th, and it is 10 tracks long, and there's a lot of, like, as Mouse would read from the poetry, there's a lot about just, like, political issues and social issues.
So they say it's the 2nd album?
I
guess the release before was like a single EP.
It was a release, it was a shorter release, it was an EP, so that was, so they had Evil Witch Bitch, which was 13 tracks, and then they had Channel Zero, which was 4. It was just
that's an EP.
But I'd still say release an album.
So it says Medusa Complex is a work...
It's their 2nd full length.
...about female disobedience, witchcraft, and the horror realm of music, without forgetting a political view of our times. They mentioned similarities with 45 Grave and Catholic Spit, California death rock.
Yes.
And songs are in English, Spanish, Italian, and German, celebrating unity and different cultures in a broken Europe.
Which is so fucking cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was something that I found really interesting about the band, is that they are from London, but their death rock sound isn't like Batcave death rock sound. It is very much West Coast California death rock.
Yeah, I was hearing Christian Death.
Oh, yes.
The whole time. And surfer death rock, is that a thing?
Well, a lot of, like, when you listen to goth and death rock, has, like, those surf rock vibes, in my opinion.
Okay.
And like, the guitars and shit, right?
Yeah.
And so some tracks had, like, these real, like, punky riot girl vocals. Some tracks, there was one track that had some spoken word. There were some more tracks that had, like, a more, like, mellowed, softer voice, singing style.
Yeah,
So it was very varied.
The first 2 tracks were, like, punchy and in your face, and that riot girl, like, punk happening. That was Paula, Maxa, and Hypothermia. Both of those, like, I really loved. It had that traditional style. It kind of reminded me of Mexican death rock as well. So all the Mexican death rock you've showed me.
And that you've been listening to.
Yes, I've been doing my homework. And then it got into Freak Show and Midnight Sun, which I thought also went together.
I want to comment on what you said about Mexican death rock real quick. A lot of those bands that have like that sort of sound describe themselves as anarcho-goth.
Anarcho-goth? What is that?
So anarcho-punk is a genre.
Oh, anarcho. Okay, A-N-A-R-C-H-O. Okay.
Yeah, however you want to pronounce it.
Got it, okay.
But instead they call themselves anarcho-goth, and it tends to have like that harder, punchier sound to it, and lyrics that are like political and transgressive.
I'm learning something. I hope you are too. Quiz at the end of the show.
Anyway.
Yeah, so the next two tracks, Freak Show and Midnight Sun, in
Freak Show was so much fun.
it was fun. They took like a different pace with it.
They did.
The music was still punchy, but the vocals were not as much.
Right,
So,
that was one of the more like rounded, mellowed out like vocals.
so I get that it was like more pulled back, but the vocalist didn't seem as into it. You know, it was like 1, 2, 3, go. You know, when like the first two songs, it was like yeah. You know, and that's kind of the energy I was expecting. So that caught me a
Okay.
little bit off guard.
Okay.
With the pace of those. My opinion.
There was then, unless you wanted to comment on Midnight Sun, there was Krampusnacht, because why wouldn't you write a song about Krampus?
Krampusnacht was amazing. That had the German touch to it.
Yes.
Yeah, she starts shouting because you have to shout 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, of course.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Of course.
You know, just like how.
Ich nicht Sanchi.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Delirium Mask. Ich nicht Sanchi.
Yeah. Sanchi, go.
Oh my
You really should
god,
be able to go. That would have been great.
that's great. Just learn to say 1, 2, 3, 4 in any language you choose and throw it in there.
Yes.
It'll work. It will always work. La Santa Muerte.
This was my favorite track.
I knew it was gonna be your favorite track. I was gonna guess.
How did you know?
Because it starts off with a fun ass bass line and it's freaking awesome. You were listening to it like, oh, check out that bass. You were just drooling like,
Oh man, like I'm just like, yes, this bitch got a sexy bass.
oh my god,
All up in here. Look.
sexy bass.
Yeah, that sells me on a song every time. What can I say? I am a bassist after all.
You are.
Yeah.
You are. You're listening and judging. You could hear it now, so now I hear it on your behalf.
Thank you.
Because you're a bassist. I just know.
But no, oh god, yes, sexy. I'm thinking about it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Why am I doing the whole review? You go.
But I like hearing you talk about death rock because
Shut
like
up.
it's not like totally your wheelhouse. Kind of like when you watch me try to like fuck my way through like
Fuck your way through Cold Wave. Yeah. You're just like, yeah, this sounds like Kraftwerk, and I'm like, oh, sorry. Yeah, I did have fun with it though. The last two tracks were bopping. Channel Zero and Kite's Night. Like I was just like, whoa, what is going on? Like just punchy, fun, energetic, hard death rock. I think there was one that I skipped completely by accident. Medusa's Complex.
Medusa Complex, the title track.
It's the
one that we have
only
lyrics
one
for.
that gives you lyrics. Mm-hmm. So I think this was meant to be the most important song, obviously.
Well, maybe, I'm not sure.
Well, they named their album Medusa Complex.
Well, this is the one that has the line of female disobedience.
Stone, 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 stone. She's gonna get you. She's gonna make you bleed dust.
I did like this track too. Like,
She also says coitus.
oh no.
I love it.
Coitus kind of sounds like coil, which is like snaky.
It does, though, doesn't it?
I don't
Like
know.
coily.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sure. But that's the track about like female disobedience and what?
I like saying that phrase, female disobedience.
Female disobedience should be the name of a band.
Yeah, and they
Or an
call
album.
themselves FD.
Oh, there's already a band called FD.
I know.
But that could be an album name.
Sure.
Female disobedience. Yeah. There are no genders, only bread. Then you could be non-bread.
Oh my god, stop.
I saw that on Courtney's wall.
What was your favorite track off this album?
Kind of hard. I really loved Paula Maxa.
Oh, yeah.
And
That was track 1, by the way.
And I really loved La Santa Muerte, which you liked.
Mm-hmm.
I loved A Kate's Night. Holy crap, I don't really know, do I?
Wow, have we ever run into the situation where you're just like, I don't know. Oh my god.
Track 1, Paula Maxa. I'm just gonna go with that.
It was great.
It was great. It was impressive. It just made me want to jump out of my seat.
All of the death rocks just setting the tone for 2020 I have found impressive, and I'm so excited because I really do feel as though like, okay, so death rock revival happened. Yeah, sure, some good bands came out of it, but but I feel like everything coming out now, there's so much more of a political message
Maybe
in
this
it.
is the death rock revival.
Like the real death rock revival.
Yeah, maybe it was like just trying to get off the ground.
And it was just like
Yeah.
Well, because I feel like the music in a lot of death rock has like recently has become less about campy spooky things or like
That's what I thought it was about.
whatever, and it's becoming more of a political message, and it's mixing more with like, you know, like harder punk elements, and like I'm hearing more like dark punk and like anarcho punk and stuff like that in death rock nowadays, and it makes me so happy that we're, you know, having transgressive music again in a really hard punching way and like rage against the world kind of way, and also introspective, because a lot of this album is very introspective. But you know, like in goth music and darkwave, lyrically, whenever it does, you know, like complain about societal ills, there are of course exceptions, of course always, but my notice is that it tends to be more like a self-reflective, introspective, like personalized thing instead of like an outward and raging sort of thing.
I like that newer death rock can tend to be. It seems darker to me, in that the lyrics and what the songs are about have deeper meaning.
Yeah, I agree I can agree with that.
There was a time when death rock was always, like you said, campy and fun and all of that, and it just had this air that was like, okay, I'm going to step up over here, but it didn't seem like the darkest of goth to me at the time. So what we're finding now is really cool because it is investigating some other emotions and bringing that into it.
Right. And I do think some of that, I suspect that some of that has to do with like the real big popularity and crossover between punk and metal scenes, and I think it's bleeding into what we're seeing in death rock. But that would need more research. This is an unresearched opinion.
Yeah.
Cool. We went on a lot of tangents about death rock on this one.
Oh my god, did we talk for a long time on that? Holy crap.
Yeah.
Well, it was a full-length album. Are these all full-length albums?
Yeah.
What have you done to us?
I'm so sorry.
God. But Medusa Complex by the Creeping Terrors.
yeah.
Make sure to pick it up. The songs are pretty short. The longest track is that Paula Maxa track 1, which is excellent.
Yes. As opposed to the next two releases, which we're going to talk about, which have much longer tracks.
Much longer tracks.
So, Plague Garden. This release, Left in the Grave. I think it's a debut release.
It has to be.
I'm pretty certain it is.
It has to be.
But
So Bleeding Light Music, which is the label, has albums on there already from Red Wing Blackbird.
okay,
and
Red Wing
EH
Blackbird, that release was amazing, and the thing is that one of the members, Paul Baker, of
Red Wing Blackbird.
Red Wing Blackbird, is in Plague Garden.
Yeah,
And Red Wing Blackbird, we
that's what.
didn't get to review the album, but it's really very good.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, yeah. So that's what I was getting to was that their label is has those two bands on there, EHPH and Red Wing Blackbird. And then when you read Plague Garden's description, it says that the band is a collaboration between Fernando Alatnaga and Angelo Atencio of EHPH and Paul Baker, who you mentioned. So follow us and visit our website. So it's like all the guys from the bands that are on that label just got together and made this.
I wonder if that's just like their buddy label or something.
Maybe.
Cool.
But they're from Denver. So fun to have American music.
Well, Denver has a pretty strong goth scene.
I know people in Colorado, but not necessarily Denver.
Oh.
So let's talk about this logo.
Let's talk about the album instead, because that logo is terrible.
The logo, come on. This is like VGA graphics, 16-bit, 1996 PC. Fix that. It looks like it could be good if you squint, from far away.
The logo could be as good as the music.
The logo's better than the music.
That's not true.
You don't think so?
No, I liked the album.
Oh, okay. So you don't think the... Oh, no, backwards. I have it backwards. Sorry. I'm sorry. The album's better than the logo. Fuck, forget me. Just don't even listen to me. Just don't even listen to me.
Anyway, so...
You have a 7-track album. Mm-hmm. This was released on February 15th. It's called Left in the Grave.
Yes.
Which is frightening. Just the concept of it.
You don't ever have dreams about being buried alive?
No, but I have mentally prepared myself many times on if I do get buried alive, how to escape. I have all the instructions. I know every single thing you're supposed to do.
Cool.
As you should.
Anyway,
when you go to the Bandcamp, it starts you off on track 2.
Right. It's probably because track 1 is the weakest track on the album. In my opinion, I did not like the vocals.
Is that the one that you said you didn't like the vocals? Or was there another one?
There were 2 tracks I didn't care for the vocals
on. So Resurgence, the first track, I felt it was pretty good post-punk style gothic music. Mm-hmm. The atmosphere...
The vocals were so gravelly, and it wasn't the kind of vocals that I enjoy.
It sounded like there was a lot going on within the song. So yeah. I think there was, the atmosphere of the song was supposed to be screechy and unsettling.
I think that's true because that's when you tend to find the singer using that vocal style throughout, is when it's supposed to be, a little bit unsettling and a little bit creepy. Track 2, though, I really loved. This is the track that Bandcamp starts you off on, and it is called Lost, and it is so beautiful.
This is a
slow,
nice...
but still makes you want to,
mid-tempo, dark wave rhythm. It reminds me of Anders Manga, Requiem and Rosaries.
Really?
Yeah, just that kind of, groove.
Just, the flow it has?
Yeah. It seems on the long side. I could have been done with it in about 4 minutes.
I felt like a lot of the tracks on this album were a little on the long side.
But
I enjoyed them, but I did notice at one point, the song's still going? Well, it sounds bad, but it's not.
It is also where songs appear in the album. So, the first track was okay, the second track was great. And you're all right, I want to hear more. And then the third track is the epic.
The title, oh my god, that song was epic. It had so many, ebbs and flows and, highs and lows. And, it started off with this, slow build with vocals and drum and bass. And then, the highs of it are when the guitar comes in. Oh my god. Sorry.
So that was the track called Left in the Grave. That was the actual title track of the album. It speaks for the album, which is cool, but it was 7.5 minutes long and it was track 3. And I probably wouldn't have put it there for the attention span of the average listener. Probably would have moved it down a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. But it was
nice. It was a good song.
I really liked the punctuated parts with the just melancholy atmosphere created by the guitars. I loved that so much.
And it also matches the picture very much.
Yes.
I thought the photograph on the album cover was very fitting once you don't look at the 2-bit, 16-bit.
That you do not like better than the album.
If I scroll over the top of it, I can cut off the top of the logo, and then I can just see the trees and the lake, and that's cool. I like that. Anyway, let's talk about Suicide.
Didn't like the vocals on some parts, but I thought that the parts where I did like the vocals were great.
It was a joke because the lyrics are "Don't you talk about suicide?
Don't do it.
So this was a fun track. I mentioned before, Stave Church's Grind, where they have a song that
My Sister's a Serial Killer.
I don't know about that.
4, yeah.
But the songs emulate, the lyrics emulate what's going on in the song.
Yeah.
So, the lyrics are, oh, don't you talk about suicide, don't you do it. And then by the time it gets to the end, he says, the chorus again, don't you talk about suicide, don't you do it.
Don't do it.
Do it.
End.
And then it just stops. I was just like,
Yeah, it was like jarring. And
But that is the way suicide is. It's
Yeah.
jarring. It's there 1 second and it's gone the next.
Yeah.
And you're just like, what happened? Is it over? Like, what? You know?
Yeah.
Like, whether you're the actual victim or the onlooker, that's the way it ends. So that was interesting to me. So I like tricks like that in songs.
Well, I feel like this entire album had a lot of interesting things going on in terms of how the instruments were used and how timing and pacing and layering was used, which I appreciated.
I think so too. Nevermore.
Oh my god, that sexy guitar creak at the beginning, and then like it ends and goes
loved
straight
the
to those
guitar.
sexy and like the sexy synths.
Sexy synths. It was. I called it a Cure-like guitar going into deep synths.
Oh, see, that's way more descriptive. Like I just said, sexy.
That works. It was how you made it.
That's
made you
literally
feel.
what my notes say.
Some of these songs seem kind of like repressed and druggy, almost like a Scary Black song.
Okay.
Like they were just like, I don't know how to describe it. Like you're like under like a haze or something.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to describe it.
The track "These Dreams" I liked a lot.
Oh, it got so spooky.
The beginning of it sounded a little bit undermastered, like it just explodes with a wall of gritty guitar.
Yeah.
And it
Oh, see, my notes actually say "What the fuck guitar." that's the beginning, and then it said "Gets spooky and cool as it goes on."
I feel like we should just listen to an album at the same time. Mm-hmm. We'll probably just talk a lot, but we should listen to an album at the same time and then just be like,
Scream no.
what the fuck? We could do it like on the phone or something.
Yeah, we could. We totally could.
We'd probably just chat over the whole album.
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
We tend to chat over our own fucking reviews.
That's right. Okay, but These Dreams song, that's track 6.
I liked the vocals being like under everything.
Yeah, once the vocals start, it mellows into like a smooth post-punk slip, then it slips it right into the last track.
For Anything, which was very lovely post-punk, but it has some really cool what are they called, like pick slides?
Is that what that is?
I have no fucking clue.
That could be anything.
Just go listen.
That could be
it's
a-
cats.
Like stretching your cat's neck out.
But I thought For Anything was like just a nice, pretty song to end the album with.
It was a nice ending. Yeah, it was nice. But yeah, overall, that's a great album. I mean, it was the first album. But these guys are musicians. They already know what they're doing. So I think they were just having fun with this, experimenting.
I think so.
The track Lost was
I think
the
that was
best.
the absolute best track.
That was the best track.
It was excellent.
I would say Left in the Grave if it was a little bit shorter and
By
maybe
about 3 minutes.
yeah, like maybe if
So
they
like
ever
a regular song length.
if they ever put out like a radio version or something,
Okay.
that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I thought that was a good track too.
Actually, I liked all these tracks. Resurgence and the first track and last track. I mean, they're not as good as the rest of the album,
Yeah.
but
But
the rest of the album I really liked.
gosh, there's some really awesome songs on this album. Yeah.
Anyway, good job, guys.
Thank you. And I guess last but not least is Chemical Waves, Even When We Fall Apart.
Chemical Waves, another collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
But this one,
But this one's a little different. So Blindfolded. So it's 10
wait,
tracks.
no. You gotta talk about Chemical Waves.
I'm sorry. I wanted to talk about it so bad. Please go on.
Okay. I don't know anything about Chemical Waves. You go.
I know nothing about. Chemical Waves.
What we know about Chemical Waves is I do know Halo Effect. So Halo Effect is like synth pop electro.
See, I don't know Halo Effect or The Mark.
I know Halo Effect is out of Italy. So Marco Catani, he is the I guess this is his project. There's some Bandcamp poetry here. A sound with post-punk, dark wave, cold wave echoes so deep and intense in decadent atmospheres, dark hues in dark landscapes. Immerse yourself in intense emotions, sometimes warm and sometimes glacial.
Okay, yeah.
Man, can we just like hire people to like write the Bandcamp poetry? They don't even need to listen to the music. They just need to like write stuff.
You just need to put together a bunch of words.
I love it.
Yeah.
Because it's just great. Yeah, you've got like a 10-track album. It came out February 15th, and that's all I wanted to say. Also on Unknown Pleasures. Your turn, go.
My turn, go. Okay, so it starts. So the way that I described this album, I'm trying to remember how I described it to someone on Facebook.
Like Kill Shelter?
No, I described it. It sounds it's like this really atmospheric, ethereal meets dark wave that you would expect to find behind like Blade Runner, but with like a lot of like the new wave and synth wave like elements just pulled out and just dark wave.
I love the Blade Runner soundtrack.
Yeah, so it reminded me heavily of that, and the first track, the intro track, did a really great job as an intro track. It's purely instrumental. It's called Blindfolded, and it's just so gorgeous. I could put that on repeat and just like have it fill my house.
That is really cool that you mentioned Blade Runner too, because they have some like sonic effects that you don't hear in any other song, and if you were to put vocals over it, it would ruin it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the way that this album was composed was so well done between. So the cool thing about having all of these collaborators on the album, and they're not even collaborators, it's featured artists, is that their vocals are used as unique instruments. They are used as part of the instrumentation on all of the songs, and so like the song matches the quality of, you know, like the individual's vocals, or maybe like the band that they comes from has some of, you know, like the elements from that. I'm thinking specifically of Closed Mouth and Anti-Flux. And it was so cool hearing it composed that way.
And all of the artists that were invited on, they wrote the lyrics.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so it says lyrics and vocals by Bedless Bones, lyrics and vocals by Closed Mouth, lyrics and vocals
so
by
cool.
Virgin Tears. You know, and it actually, like, just listening to this made me like all of these bands more.
Yeah, that's actually a really good way to put it. I didn't like Bedless Bones before the track.
Yeah, I didn't really
Denied.
care for her, but I loved the work that she did on this. There's a music video for her track. Her track is track 2, and it's called Denied, and there's a music video for it.
So her verse vocals reminded me of Concrete Blonde.
I heard all kinds of vocals that I was trying to place, and they all came out of the 90s.
Oh, yes. Yes, that was my thought as well. They all came out of the 90s.
This is like straight out of like the 90s meets
New retro.
Yeah, but not just Blade Runner, but also Dune soundtrack.
Yeah,
Vangelis.
Yeah.
Just crazy like wasteland soundtracks. And then 90s ethereal wave.
Yeah, there's so much ethereal in this album. I think that there were only two or three tracks that had male vocalists. It was mostly female vocalists.
Let's see. Ego Prism is male. Anti-Flux.
Male.
And HIV positive.
Male. Okay,
and Closed Mouth.
Okay, so 4 out of...
Wait, L'Avenir.
Oh, L'Avenir. Yeah.
So there's really only 3 females.
Okay, so I had it
singing.
backwards. 3 female vocalists.
3 and then 4. Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah. Well, the third track, The Only Way, this was Closed Mouth, and this was my favorite track off the whole thing.
That was cool. That was kind of death rock style vocals.
I love his vocals.
It was very interesting. Like, I didn't expect it to sound like that. But this also being track 3 and a little bit longer, I would have preferred if it was a little bit later in the album.
Oh, okay.
I think that pacing wise, like it just like the last album we talked about. The first
it was 6.5 minutes long, but see, that's the thing is, I enjoyed it for all of those 6.5 minutes.
I did enjoy that a lot. Yeah.
There was one track later on that was almost 8 minutes that I
Really?
just really wanted it to end.
Really, Virgin Tears?
I did not like that.
I liked that track. I liked it a lot. That also reminded me of like some kind of like 90s ethereal.
Oh no!
What did it sound like?
Absolutely, but it went on too long. Like it was.
Yeah. I put in my notes that it was a little bit long.
Yeah.
Gorgeous long 90s, almost like Faith in the Muse or Clairvoyant. That's what I got out of it.
Oh, okay. There was the Sphinx, which was another just like absolute killer track. That one featured HIV positive. Mm-hmm. That was a killer track.
It was a killer. I don't know about killer track, but it was fun. It was great. So if this is the HIV positive I'm thinking about, he normally does power noise. Like he's normally, I've never seen any lyrics that he's written. So I am surprised. I mean, but it's been a while. Then there's a track called Fall Asleep.
Which was a nice interlude.
It's another instrumental, cool, airy.
And it worked so well.
It reminded me of, like, as I was listening to it, I was like, oh my god, this reminds me of, like, Lycia or, like, something I would hear on, like, Project Records.
Yeah.
And then the very next track, wait, is it the next track?
Him?
Nope, no, skip over one. Then Void and Light, with featuring Anti-Flux, also reminded me of Lycia.
That's another one of my favorite tracks. Okay, so I have 3, like, top tracks on this album.
This is hard.
Void and Light was so...
Void and Light was the one that I wanted on repeat. Moody, slow, ballad, tribal drums.
Yes, tribal drums. I wrote that exactly
Dead Can Dance style.
And the vocals on it were like...
Well, you know, we love Anti-Flux anyway.
Yeah.
Sparkles in Your Eyes.
I did not expect this track.
I loved it because, you know...
It was so new.
Ego Prism is kind of, like, synth poppy a little bit. So this track is very synth poppy.
Yeah, like, I just did not expect it. It was definitely the brightest
Sparkles
song.
in Your Eyes.
I mean, it also has the word sparkles in it, but it was definitely the brightest song.
See, if that switched places with The Only Way by Closed Mouth, it would be a perfect album to me. Because I think that would go up higher under Bedless Bones.
I actually really liked having this track that is so different from the rest of the album right smack at the end.
Okay.
And then Desire's Web featuring
RJVJ. Oh, that one has a video.
Does?
Yeah, it has a video as well. I didn't watch it, but I didn't like this one.
I did not like it either.
I
don't know what it was.
It wasn't
about.
bad. Just didn't do anything for me. I don't know who RJVJ is.
Right, that's how I feel. Like I was
Vocals
listening to it,
lyrics
and I was
by
thinking,
Veronica J. Clay, and vocals recorded by Rob Girardi.
I was listening to it, and I was like, this isn't a bad track, but it just doesn't grab me like the rest of the album did.
It was underwhelming compared to the rest of them. Maybe it's the only artist that I wasn't familiar with on this entire bill, so maybe if I knew who they were,
maybe
I'd give them a little bit more points. So
you have to do your homework and report back.
Yeah, maybe. But Virgin Tears, the track that you didn't like, I really loved her voice, and I wanted to know more about her, so I looked her up, and she had a release in August that was still on my computer. I had purchased it. It was just sitting on my computer. So I was like, oh my gosh, I have to go listen to that. It's only like 5 tracks. But maybe we can check it out.
What was your favorite track off this album?
Oh, God. Void and Light.
I have Void and Light, and if I had to pick a second one, it would probably be The Only Way.
Yeah, the closed mouth one?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I liked Sparkles in Your Eyes as my second.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think so.
That one was just too upbeat for me.
That's what I want. I love it. I can actually.
I'm too much of a gloomy bitch.
I can actually spin this, and I think I can make people dance to it. And then people will be like, "Oh my god, what is that song?" And I'll be like, "Oh, it's Chemical Waves, and it's by Sparkles in Your Eyes, and featuring Ego Prism." And it's gonna be such a mouthful, and I'm gonna have to write it on little napkins.
Just carry it on napkins.
I should. Little Post-it notes.
But yeah, again, 3 solid releases. This week.
Yeah,
and each of them all very different.
Yeah, and I think you have to give these albums some time. Other than the Chemical Waves, the albums didn't grab me as much on their first listen. You can't be multitasking. You have to actually give them the attention because, like, these bands put a lot of work into the albums.
I think that's music in general. I mean, it deserves your attention. Like, I think people often forget that, you know, just because it's not Mozart doesn't mean music isn't art. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's not background music. Some of them are more subtle than others.
Yeah, but go check out these releases. If you like them, of course, buy them, support the artists.
Please do. This is all they have. And merch, I guess.
And merch. I mean,
they're probably not going to tour or anything like that. I mean, these are all pretty small bands.
I think they're from terrace tours.
In London. Probably.
All I know is not here.
Not
if you
here.
Ever find your way to Florida, hit us up.
Or Convergence.
See, this is why I stand by my statement that if Obscure Undead ever gets big enough and we have, like, money to just throw around, we should do a Death Rock Fest.
We should go to a Death Rock Fest first, talk to everybody, and then say, hey, come to the States.
I mean, we would have to go to Return to the Batcave. I think San Muerte has, I think in also New York, Oakland, and sometimes Mercury. Okay, so they're death rock represented at places.
Okay. Okay.
I just want a pure death rock fest.
Pure.
All right. So
Unfiltered. So, are we done with that?
We are done with that. We're done with our 3 releases. So we're at the point in the video now where we thank our lovely, lovely Patreon supporters. If, who help make these videos possible, if you would like to become a Patreon supporter, you can do so using the links below. Or you can give us a one-time donation, just give us $2, buy us a coffee. God, we need so much coffee.
Oh my god.
But thank you, Acid Bitter.
Thank you, Skull Girdle.
Thank you, Libby.
Thank you, Junkyard Bat.
Thank you, Mason Shiver.
Thank you, Demetria.
Thank you, Two Broke Goths.
Thank you, Dea.
Thank you, Sybaris.
Thank you, Uncle Fester.
Thank you, Max Shrek.
Thank you, Bethrazoth.
Thank you, Cadaver Kelly.
Thank you, David.
Yes. Really, thanks everyone. Thanks everyone who makes it to the end of our videos, who watches them.
Give yourself a huge pat on the back if you made it to the end of our videos.
Yes, every single time.
Yeah.
Even if we don't tell you, you should automatically
We're
know,
patting
give
you
yourself
on the
a pat
back.
on the
Just
back.
do it and just pretend it's us.
Yeah, and if you see us at Convergence, just tell us. I made it. Tell us I made it to the one of the end.
I made it to the end of one of your videos.
Yes, thank you, Englishing, and we'll pat you on the back.
We will do a running chest bump, high five. Maybe not a chest bump.
That sounds dangerous.
Okay, we could do a high five.
We'll do a high five. And Mouse will kill you.
By accident. I'll say I'm sorry.
Yeah, but follow our Instagram. We just did a Syzygics vinyl giveaway on Instagram.
We did.
So that's pretty cool. Follow us on Facebook. We try to post a lot of what we find on Facebook. Like, comment, subscribe. Actually, I really do love talking to the people in the comments on our videos.
Comment.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be mean.
Huh?
It doesn't have to be mean.
Oh, it can be mean, but, please don't.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next week.